balling hay today. This hay actually got rained on while I was going to the farm show. I fluffed it out yesterday, and now we're putting it in a bale. Don't know yet what we're going to do with it. Probably going to try to feed it. If I had somebody come along and wanted some mulch, and which I've got some landscapers buying hay from me. I'm not talking to them about it and see, but we could try to sell it for mulch hay, but I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what I can get out of it. If it's worth it, or just let the cows pick around through it and get what they can out of it, being it got rained on. But I know everybody's probably wondering, going forward, where are y'all at on the round balers? And what are y'all, everybody kind of knows that we're kind of in the market looking around. We've been playing with the idea of a new round baler for 2 years. It's getting down to, we need one and we've got to have one, so we're probably going to have to bite the bullet eventually pretty quick. Ideally we would love to be in a new baler next spring. That's where we are sitting right now, is our plan. We want to be in a new baler next spring, but it has to fit the budget. The cost and inputs are going up next year, fuel, I mean everything. We've been looking very hard at that. The cattle market's not exactly where we love it to be. Hay market, same thing here in the southeast, but that varies year to year, so you can't really go by that as a whole for next year, especially with quality hay business, because every year is different. But the cattle right now is the biggest thing. The beef prices that are kind of really putting us in a pinch to budget ourselves to what we're doing, and we all know that we need a baler because we put it off to this point. We've got to have one pretty quick. Worst case scenario, I can do quite a bit of get this baler tuned up and ready to go for another year next year, which I feel like it can do it without any trouble, and me just run it like I've been at another year, even though that's not ideally what I want to do, but I feel like I could if I had to without any problem. So that's kind of the worst case scenario, but ideally we want to be in a new baler next year. Probably wondering, what's your decision going forward? I walked into the show with 3 balers on my mind. I felt like we're the top 3 balers on the market. The McHale, I was interested to see what this new Massey baler would do. It was the biggest unknown going in, just because I didn't know what to expect, if it was going to be if they made improved changes to it, or what was going to be there, because we hadn't seen it. And then the Klaus, obviously. The Klaus not in the field. Very disappointed with that. I don't know if it was an issue with just not having enough room for all the manufacturers, because Kuhn, Peckway, there was several other companies was not in the field baling, and there was a lot of balers out there from all the big manufacturers as well, but the Klaus was not out there, and I was very disappointed by that, because I wanted to see in the field head to head what would each one do, and I didn't get to see that. The McHale balers jumped, which kind of threw off part of the demonstration to show which balers were the fastest. They just took off way ahead of everybody else and started early. So that kind of threw out that test for me on the demonstration wise, the one that we watched. And as far as the actual speed at which they went across the field, I felt like all 3 would be pretty close. The Massey and the McHale, I didn't see much difference in the speed at all, at the rate that those guys were running. I ran that baler, and I mean, it'll fly if you want it to. So that's kind of where the speed-wise was. Packing the bale, I felt like the Massey and probably the Klaus would have a little bit of an edge over the McHale, just by what I've seen in the field. and the distance that much hay that the Massey put, and knowing this baler, what I think it could do if it would have been in the field. So that's the McHale. The biggest thing that's thrown me off on it is the price. $50K for a round roller is just stupid. For us, that's just there's no way. So, and it automatically got right off. I think as far as everything else, it was equal, but I just do not see, and maybe even in some areas it was a little bit better, but I did not see the huge price difference, the justification for it. Had a lot of great features, a lot of nice stuff about it, but for us and our needs, and this is, my rankings are by what I feel like works best for us in our farm going forward. The McHale was just overpriced too high for us, and there's just no way that we could afford that. So that's kind of why it's out the not even being considered anymore, even though it's in my top 3 as far as the Balers out there. Really, it's down to the Klaus and the Massey. I'm probably leaning more towards the Massey just because of the fact that I like the net system a little bit better on the Massey, and the other thing was, for me, was the cleanliness of the baler and cleaning it out to when I get done with it, blowing it out is another thing. The third thing would probably be the fact that all the roller bearings on the Massey are greasable versus partially half of them, I'd say, on the Klaus are non-greasable bearings. And for me, that's a huge deal. So those 3 things is what kind of put the Massey ahead for me, even though they're very equal balers. And this baler here, I know that the Klaus would do just fine for us, and it would be a great baler as far as performance, durability, and everything. But I just feel like as far as the comfort features and things, and the few of the other little things I mentioned, edge it ahead for me just a little. And I feel like that is just probably the best all-around baler right now on the market going forward. As far as what they'll actually do in the field, I don't know. I mean, the McHale, the Massey, and the Klaus, I don't know. Well, I can't say that about the Klaus, because I've ran a Klaus through this one, and I know what to expect out of it. The other 2, I don't know. I mean, you may get 10,000 bales in and then have a different opinion. I don't know. But as far as looking at it and making my best assessment, I think that I'm going to give the Massey an edge. And I know a lot of people's probably it's just because you like Massey. I looked at every aspect of those balers and compared everything, and from the price, the durability, the performance, and some of the other features that they each have, the Massey is probably the one that makes the most sense. Not that either of the other 2 is not, but I feel like it's right there. The Klaus, for me, is second just because of the cost of the McHale. That is the biggest thing that just throws it off for me. It's just not worth spending all that extra money for that baler. That's a lot of money you can spend on maybe a new baler down the road, or repairs. Say if you had to do repairs, that's a lot of extra money. I mean, from the numbers I've heard that the new Klauses are going for over the last year, you're talking a $15,000 price difference. That's a lot of money. So I don't know, the Massey, I've yet to get a lockdown price. I kind of heard some numbers from multiple sources thrown out there. I kind of got a little bit of an idea where it's going to be, but it's got to be close to the Klauses for me. There's just, I mean, I like the Massey Baler better, and I want to be in the Massey Baler going forward. But if there's a huge price difference, it's kind of going to be like the McHale. I just don't see the justification for us and our needs, and for us going forward. But I do want to be in that Baler. I do believe it is going to be quite a bit cheaper than the McHale. But is it going to be close to the Klaus? That's the unknown. The other thing that I'm kind of need to know before we pull the trigger on anything is I want to kind of know where the Klaus is going to sit with this tractor and pulling it. That's the other thing. We are not in a position right now where we can go out and buy a larger horsepower tractor to pull a harder to pull baler. Now I know that the Massey has the knife system in it. The Massey, if we bought it, I would not use the knives in it just because of the horsepower issue. This tractor would not pull that baler with the knives in it on hilly ground or whatever. It would not do it. You need a larger tractor to handle that. So we would not be using it with the knives. So that would kind of throw it out. Reps did tell me though, they knew, I told them what this one was, and they kind of knew what it was anyway. I mean, they knew pretty well what I'm running and everything. And they did tell me that a tractor the size of this one it was hard on going uphill, which I kind of already expected that, which they probably thought that scared me quite a bit more than it actually did, because this baler's that way. I didn't say nothing about it really, but this baler's the same way. I don't ever really talk about it a whole lot, but that's why I've always said the way I pull this baler with this little tractor, even though it looks big, it is a smaller tractor horsepower wise, is the Dyna-4 transmission. As I start going up steep hills, I can downshift and click it right down, and it just keeps on pulling. Speed wise and everything, does it take me a little longer? Yeah. But does it get the job done? Yes, it does. And right now, we're not in a position to buy a larger tractor. I've made it very well known the tractor that we eventually get to replace this one going forward is going to be a lot larger tractor. But we're not in a position right now. This tractor's still got a lot of life in it. The McCormick, we want to get more hours on it before we trade it, because quite frankly the tractor ain't worth a lot as far as its trade-in value, so we need to get it out of it through work to make it make sense, and so where we can afford it, I guess you could say. So we're not quite where we want to be to make that kind of move yet. It's on down the road several years from now, but I feel like I want to try that baler, and I feel like if it's the same as this one as far as hardness to pull, which I believe it's going to be, I hope it's going to be anyway. I think it will be, because I know the Klaus, the new Klaus 460, is probably going to be a little bit tougher to pull than this baler, just because a few of the changes that they made. Do I think it'll be a deal breaker? No, I think I can pull that baler just fine, knowing what I know with this one, and the more than they changed, I think I'll be just fine with that. The Massey's unknown, so I want to get that baler here on a demo somehow, whether it's next spring or before we get done baling this year. We'll see. I don't know. Kind of got some plans. I need to call Kane and talk to him to maybe just to make sure that we're still looking down that road, but we'll see. But I'm not going to tell what they are right now with that. But I want to try it before we do anything, and then I need the price, and then I'll make my decision, and then I'll tell y'all why we made the decision down to the last fine details why we did. But going forward, I would love to be in the Massey as far as a whole. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, and the prices are going to have to be close for me. I understand that the Massey has the knife box and stuff in it, and that's going to probably that's a little bonus there. But for me, it's not worth anything because I'm not going to be really using it. But I do understand a little bit of price difference. But if there's thousands, like several thousand difference, we will be in a clouse. So I don't know. We're going to have to see what the price is, but it's going to have to be kind of close. I believe Kane kind of knows where I want to be. So I don't know. It's just going to come down to what that baler is going to cost and where it's at. I'm not getting no special treatment just because I'm on YouTube or nothing. We're getting the same prices as everybody else, and that's where it's going to come down to at the end, and it'll be down to what is the best bang for our buck. If they get the Massey close enough, or hey, if it's cheaper, oh yeah. But I mean, if they get it close enough, as far as if it's more, we may lean that way. But I don't know. It's kind of up in there. We'll see. So that's my thoughts going forward. I feel good about either one. I think either one is a great buy. Still, and I walked out of the show thinking the Klaus was in the top 3, or walked in the show thinking it was the top 3, and I walked out thinking it's in the top 3. So it's still right there, but I do feel like the Massey probably has a little bit of an edge on it. So we'll see, and that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. The future will tell what we do, but I'd like to be in it, but it'll be up to Massey and how they price it going forward, and we'll kind of see which way we go. But thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.